It's really good to see everyone around the table here today, and thank you, Eddie, for bringing us together. I would remind you it was sunny when I got off the plane yesterday morning. We brought the sun from London, and this rumour that the weather is down to the British is completely wrong. But look, you've brought us together, Eddie. It is a really important day, a really important meeting, because this is a crucial moment for our continent. And that's been reflected, I think, in the remarks of everybody so far. And I was struck by your opening words, Eddie, because we are entering a new era. We are all saying that, and we need to recognise that it's a new era, but it's one characterised by volatility and instability, sadly. That is the new era that we are entering. As we do so, the opportunity for all European leaders to come together, each of us facing challenges for our security and our economies. I think as we do that, the value of the EPC could not be clearer. So it is very important that we're here today. That's why I was so pleased to host the summit last year at Blenheim Palace, very shortly after my government was elected, within the first 2 weeks. I was very pleased because it was very important for me to signal our intent from the very beginning to work more closely with our European partners and strengthen the UK's relationship with the EU, not based on rehashing arguments about the past, but looking forward to the future. And since then, as you'll have seen, we've dramatically stepped up our engagement with European allies, recognising that partnership is vital to our delivery of security and renewal, and particularly to working people in the UK who want that security and that renewal and deserve it. And we will be strengthening our alliances across Europe, which is why I was really pleased, Eddie, to be the first British Prime Minister to come for a bilateral visit here to Albania and work with you as our partners. And that's why I'm very pleased to be hosting Ursula and Antonio in London on Monday for the first UK-EU summit, a very important moment in this new era, and a moment that is about recognising that many of the challenges we face, whether that's migration, growth, security, they are shared challenges, and only shared solutions will solve them. And obviously our most urgent challenge here today is securing a just and lasting peace for Ukraine, a just and lasting peace. Those words, just and lasting, being so important. And that is why it's vital that we all step up to do more for our own defence. And last week I announced a major package of sanctions on the Russian shadow fleet, ramping up the pressure on Putin and protecting our critical infrastructure. And Emmanuel and I have worked very hard with many of you in recent months to bring together political and military leaders under our coalition of the willing, and I thank everybody who's been part of that. And of course, together with Friedrich and Donald, we joined Vladimir in Kyiv last weekend, not just an important symbol of solidarity and support 80 years after the end of the Second World War, and a reminder that the values that were fought for 80 years ago are precisely the same values that we are fighting for tomorrow, at the moment, in relation to Ukraine, but also an important moment to bring together, and supported by President Trump, the argument about an unconditional ceasefire, that Putin must come to the table for that unconditional ceasefire, and to issue, as we did last weekend, that ultimatum. Now, having issued that ultimatum, we must be prepared to follow through, because if Russia won't come to the negotiating table, Putin must pay the price. And I think yesterday, as already been mentioned, was further evidence that Putin is not serious about peace. Russia is dragging its feet, and playing games, whilst Ukraine has shown itself to be the party of peace. And Volodymyr, your leadership throughout this conflict, your leadership in fighting the Russian aggression and the resilience and courage of the Ukrainian people is, I think, something for us all to hold up, but also your leadership in the fight for peace, because it was you that put on the table some weeks ago now the unconditional ceasefire. So Ukraine is clearly the party of peace, and we all need to line up as allies to ensure that we get the ceasefire that is desperately needed and deliver sanctions if that is necessary. And the United Kingdom is fully committed to playing our full part, which is why we've boosted our defence spending to 2.5% of GDP in 2027, with the clear ambition to reach 3% in the next Parliament. And I know others here are stepping up, obviously, as well, so that together we deliver a generational shift in European defence and tackle the challenges that undermine our stability and security. And those challenges include migration, a challenge that preys on the most vulnerable and places a huge strain on our immigration system, as well as our public services. And that's why I put illegal migration on the agenda at Blenheim, why I chaired a discussion on the topic in Budapest. I'm really pleased, Eddie, that you include it again on the agenda for today. Because the truth is, this is a challenge that crosses our borders, a challenge we have to confront together. All of our citizens want an immigration system that is fair and that works for the national interest. And now is the time to work together to secure our shared borders. And this approach is already paying off. Yesterday, I visited Durrës port and saw firsthand how the UK is working with Albanian law enforcement to disrupt cross-border crime. And in March, I hosted the first major international summit to tackle organised immigration crime, highlighting work with European partners that is already driving results. But now is the time to do more across the board on immigration, national security, and we all know it's absolutely critical to our economic security as well. So in a new era for trade and the economy, we will increase our resilience, strengthen our alliances, and reduce barriers to trade with our allies around the world and across Europe. In this time of great uncertainty and volatility, the UK will not respond by turning inwards, but by taking its place on the world stage, strengthening our alliances, supporting freedom and peace in Europe. And I thank you, Adi, again for convening us today in pursuit of those common themes and issues.